Alright, into customs, and it's coming up on a month since the last Axe Handle Hound video, so I think it's safe enough to release this one. This was recorded at the same time as the last Axe Handle Hound team, which I'll link that video in the description if you want to see it. The premise originally was to try and target the double Jersey Devil teams that are plaguing customs, but it ended up proving pretty difficult. But at the same time, I was trying to go for another build, which I'd had on my list for quite a while, and it was based on a post that Keenoe made on his community tab, and we'll show that in the corner here. So it says, "Did you know you can guarantee Axe Handle Hound shots by using Basilisk and Cockatrice to force opponents to have 2 pet rocks?" So I mean, I think Keenoe's done a pretty good job of explaining it there. If we have 2 Axe Handle Hounds, we have a Basilisk and a Cockatrice, and the 2 pets that turn opponents into rocks go first. That will mean that the Axe Handle Hounds will always have a target, because a lot of the time you have a problem in the late game where opposing teams just don't have duplicates anymore, and so the Axe Handle Hounds tend to do very little. Now, in theory, it's a pretty interesting combo, but in practice, it's very difficult to get this going and actually have success with it. Not least because towards the end of the game, the damage that the Axe Handle Hounds are outputting tends to be, I mean, it looks incredibly high in the early game, but later on, especially if you're targeting units that have 50-50 stats, plus melon or lemon, the Axe Handle Hounds are often not going to be able to kill anything unless you're facing summon teams or snipe teams. But actually here we're getting incredible luck in the early game. We keep facing duplicate teams, and so we're managing to preserve lives. You can see we're still on 5 hearts, and the Axe Handle Hounds are doing their job. Now, although Basilisk is tier 1, we're not going to take it now. In fact, I guess at this stage I wasn't even thinking about going for this build. I was still going for the double Jersey Devil counter. In fact, we roll past a Basilisk right there. But what we want to do is wait until the late game and then swap the stats onto from the Axe Handle Hound onto the Basilisk. And that will guarantee that the Axe Handle Hound goes after the Basilisk. And so hopefully the double rock setup will actually work. So yeah, for now though, we're just playing along as if we're going to beat a bunch of Jersey Devil teams later on. And yeah, we're just using Manatee to get the stats up on the axe handles. And Double Crow, which I'll freeze, and then we can actually combine Manatees next turn for a level up. Donkey does end up giving the Camel an extra trigger here, so I think we're probably going to lose. Yep, definitely. And although it is turn 8, we are going to take the level up anyway, because we're not necessarily looking for a Cockatrice at this stage. We're just, playing along with our normal strategy. And did both of those zebra hits land on the Manatee? That was a bit unfortunate. But we do find another Manatee as well. Another Camel team, although this time they just don't have the same kind of stats as the previous one. So it's another win. I think definitely just taking Dolphin to help force early wins, especially if you put Pineapple on it, it's still very good. The fact that Pineapple has been changed to only work a certain number of times just doesn't affect Dolphin at all. So here we end up finding a ton of Manatees, and we're going to end up getting a level 3 next turn. Even though we could combine them together, I think I end up keeping the other one in case we want to refresh the health and get extra triggers out of it, because at level 3 you're getting a lot of stats. It's like +6, +3 per turn. Now there is another Basilisk in the shop, but I think I'm going to ignore it again. And then we'll sell the weaker Manatee, buy sell the Flamingo, take the level up, and we get Cockatrice. Now maybe at this point I'm realizing that I could go for one of these unusual rock transformation teams. So I think I'll probably end up freezing the Basilisk in the shop and then rolling to try and find a frog. And in the meantime, we can just switch the Manatee to start buffing the Cockatrice to make sure that it goes before the axe handles. And Cockatrice actually got buffed in the last patch. I don't think it was in the patch notes, but it was actually improved. Previously, the way it worked is if it was if it was a level 2, say, and the backmost unit was level 3, it would do absolutely nothing. But now the way it works is it goes from the back of the opposing team to the front, looking for a level 2. Or a level 1, I guess. You know, it's the same level as the cockatrice or lower. So it does actually make it easier to end up transforming multiple units on the opposing team, as we actually face another team with a duplicate. Kind of crazy the run that we've been on in this particular game, facing teams with doubles. And I think we're barely going to scrape a win here, even though we did end up knocking out multiple units from their team. That's just the nature of summons, unfortunately. So we're actually very close to a win here, and we have the basilisk and we get the frog in the shop. So we actually have to sell both the manatee, which actually doesn't really matter because it was about to faint anyway. Bring in the basilisk. It doesn't have to be high level. All we care about is transforming the front unit into a rock. So now we have a 2-1 axe handle with melon at the back, which looks pretty weird, but in this scenario it actually does make sense. And then I end up freezing the chocolate. We don't absolutely need the chocolate, but very soon there are going to be teams that have level 3s in the backmost slot. And so I think that gives us the best chance to go for a level 3 cockatrice as soon as we can. And then here's a one big unit team. We actually end up transforming 3 different units into a rock. You can see there that the second cockatrice worked against the unit in the middle of the team, whereas that would never have happened before. And we actually win by virtue of the melon on the axe handle at the back, which is bizarre. So we take the level up on the second axe handle to increase the damage. We're on 9 wins now, so this we have a ton of attempts to get the win. And look at this, it gives us a perfect opponent. A snipe team with low health. We transform 3 units into rocks again. They get another rock from the mushroom. They get Spino from the first eagle and then a harpy eagle, which isn't great. We lose the melon on the cockatrice, and then the vulture snipes the biggest unit at the front. So that was a 1 in 4 snipe. If the vulture hits anything else there, I win. But it hit the cockatrice twice, which was... I actually had my hands in the air thinking that I'd won. And then, yeah, probably that was a bit of a mistake. Maybe I jinxed myself. And then we get another team that actually has 2 sets of duplicates. They're going for one of the slug achievements here. We delete both Jersey Devils, but of course it's Phoenix. And you know what Phoenix is good at? It's good at salvaging draws from losing positions. I actually think we probably win that if the axe handles target the Phoenixes instead of the Jersey Devils. I could be wrong. But yeah, that felt like another round where I really could have won. But now we're in danger of starting to go off the rails. We actually face another team with a duplicate. They had a double poodle at the back there. Although, of course, one of the poodles became a rock, so it didn't end up getting targeted by the axe handles. But that's the kind of team that shows the axe handle damage just cannot compete. Even if we had level 3 axe handles on both of them, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to beat those squads using just this tech team. And our stats are very, very poor other than on the cockatrice. And it's Elephant Blowfish, although we're going to completely ruin their team, their stats are just so high that honestly the interference doesn't make any difference at all. So now we're down to 2 hearts. We still have a couple of chances. We need to face... I would imagine we would need to face another summon team and just hope that they don't get any favourable spawns this time. I guess it also does depend on which units the Axe Handle Hounds target. But unfortunately the next team is another Hippocampus Chupacabra, which isn't surprising when you're getting to turn 17. You're not going to... Your chances of facing these weak squads are so much lower. So now we're down to lethal. We've gone from having 4 hearts and being in a great position, having 2 opponents that we could have beaten and drawing both rounds, to being on the brink of elimination. And it's another team with a double behemoth. We transformed 2 units into rocks again, but I think you can see as soon as the battle begins, they just have way too many stats, just like 90% of teams this late in the game, and were left to rue that vulture RNG when we were on the brink of greatness.